TGO, Tom Gruenwald Outdoors, is brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tom Gruenwald Outdoors. I'm Tom Gruenwald and we've got really a great day lined up. You know, we've been out here to the great state of South Dakota ice fishing many times and we've caught perch, caught walleyes, pike, crappies, bluegills, you name it, a lot of different species. But we stuck into the eastern part of the state and, you know, in the sloughs and things over there. And then along the central part of the state on the Missouri River reservoirs like Hawaii, big water, some big fish. Different thing today. We're in western South Dakota out in the Black Hills. We're really not that far from Wyoming. These are beautiful mountains, absolutely stunning, and there's some great fishing. I hooked up with my good friend Mike Rogers, that's right, Snow Bear Mike, and he hooked us up with a friend of his called Ben Hartman. Now Ben knows these waters up here. He's from South Dakota, he does a lot of moving around. He's going to help us out here, try to help us get onto some of these waters. We've also got a local person, Nicole Krusky. Now, Nicole grew up in the Black Hills and she knows these areas really well. And that's important because I'll tell you what, you can pull into a place like Hill City, South Dakota and see a lake 30 miles away and think, 30-minute ride, that's easy. Not so. These are mountain roads. This is winter. We get snow, we get ice, there's road closures, and these are steep mountain roads. So what looks like it might take, that's 30 miles, that's a 30-minute drive. No. You might take an hour and a half to go that 30 miles. You need someone local to help out. These lakes up here are really unique. When you think South Dakota, you think perch, walleyes, whatever it might be, pike. No, this is trout country. There are native brookies in a lot of these waters, and that's simply because these are smaller impoundments on creeks and streams here in the Black Hills, and those brook trout can actually come out here into the lake. Those populations are supplemented strongly by plantings of rainbow trout, some brown trout. A few of the lakes even get splake, and also have a lake trout population, at least in one of the waters here. So we're going to go out and do a little exploring on some of these lakes that are stocked with rainbow trout. What can we expect to catch? Well, they're planted. We're probably looking at 8, 10, maybe 12-inch rainbow trout, just some fun fish to catch. Once in a while you might get one that's 15, 20 inches or maybe even a little bit bigger. If we get lucky, we'll hook in a few of those native brook trout or possibly even a brown that's been put in. So, hey, lots of fun, great fishing, beautiful country. Join us today as we try to catch some stock trout here in the Black Hills of South Dakota, right here on TGO. Well, I went out, Mike, I drilled about 7 holes, starting up here at about 12 feet of water and going out to 25. And right here we're around about 15, right in the middle. I'm just gonna drop down here. We've got fish off the bottom. There's one suspended. There's a lot of fish down here right now. We're on a drop off here, nice break. I'm gonna try coming up on that suspended fish here.
Yeah, you got several fish marking right now.
There's some off the bottom too, yeah. Oh, he's coming up, got him. It's not a big fish, but it's a start. But just underneath the ice. Yo, we're fine. All right, well, it's not a big rainbow, but I'll tell you what, it's a start. And a lot of these Black Hills trout, this is what we end up with, is a lot of fish in that 10 to 12 inch range. They get some nice ones. It's not unusual to get some in the 20s, maybe 25 inches or bigger. And we're hoping we'll get into some of those too yet. But just pretty fish, hard fighting, fun to catch, and the search is on. So we'll let this one go. Well, there you go. Not a big fish, but it's a start. We're out here in the Black Hills, stock trout, and we're going to have a lot of fun out here. I'm going to jump out of the Snow Bear, do a little running and gunning, and see if I can find some other fish. Let Nicole and Mike work these, see if we get in on a school.
So you watch that. See how it just filled in? The red just filled in there?
Right.
There's a fish on the outside of the cone coming in. And
Okay.
what it'll do, he just swam by. He never took it. Now there he comes. Lift it up a little more. Lift it up. Let's see if we can get him to chase it. Here he comes. There he is. He's on there. He's chasing. Nah, I just haven't missed him. Yeah, there he is. All right. All right. See how that black star works?
Yeah. Another
Awesome.
perch.
Another perch.
It's not a rainbow.
You gotta find them trout. Them trout. It must be a pretty good population of perch in here. So.
Yeah.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
Okay, while we're out here, we're doing a little bit of a search, trying to find some trout. When I say we, I mean myself and Ben Hartman. Now, Ben is a good friend of Mike Rogers, and of course, Mike is one of my primary South Dakota contacts here, and has been good enough to help us out with the snow bear and help move us around here in the Black Hills. Ben fishes these lakes quite a bit. Mike's very familiar more with the central and the eastern part of South Dakota. Ben knows some of the lakes up here. So together, he and I are going to see if we can work some of these areas, see if we can find some fish. We've got rainbow trout, we've got brook trout, maybe a chance for a brown trout, and there's some other species mixed in here too, but primarily we're looking for the stock trout, which are almost all rainbows. So Ben, what can you tell us about these stock trout fisheries here in the Black Hills?
Well, I know that all the reservoirs they stocked with 50 to 100,000 a year throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Some of them are sizable, some of them are catchable.
Now, the majority of those fish are rainbow trout and brown trout, right?
Yes, they are.
And do you know, do they raise any of the lake trout that they stock in Pactola in any of those cold water hatcheries?
Yes, there is lake trout in the Pactola.
Okay.
There, I got it.
What you got there, Ben?
Just a small rainbow.
Little rainbow? Nice.
That one came in from the top side. Got good color on it.
Got to work for him a little bit today, Ben.
Yeah.
You sure are fun, though.
Yeah, they are. They fight.
I got to show you what I did here. If I get a grip on this guy. Hard with the cold hands. Beautiful fish. That nice olive green back and the pink stripe. Typical stock trout. You know, these are running maybe 10, 12, 13 inches. Once in a while you get one a little bit bigger. Let this one go. There, now that we got that, I want to show you what I did. I'm still using the same Marmuska tungsten diamond that I was before, but I'm tipping this with a little piece of plastic. And that looks kind of like a mayfly larvae, which is a real common food for a lot of panfish and trout in the wintertime. And all I'm doing is I'm just sliding this on my Marmuska tungsten diamond, threading it right up that shank, and I push that up to the head as close as I can get to try to make that so that it sits horizontally. And then when I wiggle this, all three of those tails kind of undulate in the water. And I've got different colors. I caught a couple on red earlier. I've got orange, purple. I don't know that color is as important as being in the right place at the right time, but sometimes it can make a difference. There he is. It feels like a bigger one. Oh yeah. There's a nice trout. There we go. It can get bigger than 10 or 12 inches. I've heard rumors of some real nice fish, 15, 20 inches, or even a little bigger than that being caught here. It's kind of interesting. I went out to 13, 14, 15 feet of water and I was catching some smaller rainbows. And when I first came out and I drilled this series of holes, I had one way up in 7.5 feet. I caught a small rainbow and a small brookie, kind of went dead, so I moved back out, saying, oh, but I'm going to go back in and try those shallows again. And sure enough, here I am in 7.5 feet of water, and I got probably one of the nicer rainbows. That's probably 13, maybe pushing 14 inches. Beautiful fish. They're hard to hang on to when your hands are cold. But they are just absolutely gorgeous. These stocked rainbows are really fun to catch, and they're beautiful fish. Look at that color. Let me get this back in. Well, there we go. That's what we're looking for. If we catch some of those fish that are 15 inches, a little bit bigger, those are great rainbow trout for out here. And boy, do they fight. They are so much fun in 7.5 feet of water. Can you believe that? I'm going to go back and get my hands warmed up here a little bit in my gloves. I'm going to get right back down and see if I can catch another.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com.
I started doing a little bit of scouting. I drilled holes all the way up from about 12 feet out to about 20. And I've been marking fish all over the place. Been seeing quite a few fish coming up off the bottom real hard. Those have been perch. And then some bigger marks that are suspended a little bit off the bottom. Those have been the trout. Nothing big yet, but hey, we're into some fish. And I've got Nicole Kruski with us. Nicole is our resident Black Hills expert, right?
Right.
And trouts are your favorite fish, I take it?
Yes, definitely.
All right, now you were telling me in the truck on the way over here about a secret technique that you're using, and it's kind of unique. You want to share that?
I just use a simple night crawler.
Okay.
It's always worked for me.
And ice fishing using a night crawler.
Yep. Just using a night crawler.
So dropping right on the bottom,
Just
letting
on the
night
bottom.
crawler do the work.
Yep. My husband uses a power bait. He swears by it, but
Well, who
fish
catches the most
speaks.
fish? Who catches
Me.
Okay. Well, again, you can catch these trout a lot of different ways. And I'm not doing anything too fancy here or anything particular. I've just got a number 10 Marmuska tungsten diamond, and I'm actually putting that wax worm and kind of covering up the hook, just barely leaving the point sticking out. For some reason today with the stock trout, I don't know what it is, but they seem to be biting better if I have that hook covered than if I'm leaving it extended. Something to experiment with. It makes a difference some days. Got some 6-pound monofilament. I'm using as a leader with a small barrel swivel. That just helps prevent twisting and entangling when I start dropping into this deeper water. The main line is 6-pound test going to my AccuCast reel. And the AccuCast reel is infinite anti-reverse, and what that means basically is that no matter where I stop, that bail locks. It stops right at that point. So what's nice about this is if I've got a strike zone or if it's suspended fish, no matter where I go, I can lock in at that depth. And 25 inch, this is a Polar Gold light action rod, so I get a little tip action there so I can feel the hits. Plenty of backbone to set the hook and bring the fish up if it's a little bit bigger. Doesn't take much to catch these rainbow trout. The biggest thing really is location. And a lot of these mountain lakes, the trick is to move. Just start drilling a series of holes, try different depths, and start using the electronics to see if you can mark the fish. Once you start finding them, then you can look, see what the reactions are to your baits, see what kinds of colors, sizes, of lures, what kind of jigging motions are most effective.
We're hoping for trout.
Yep, that's what it is.
That is a nicer one.
Got tangled up in my transducer there, but yeah, they're starting to get, they're getting a little more aggressive again. That one chased up quite a ways. Now again, these are not by any stretch of imagination big fish, but that is a nice trout. And what's the limit, Nicole? Is it 6?
It's 5 and 1 over 14.
Okay, so very good. So you can come out here, and I mean, these are perfect eating fish. You know, if you do want to catch a few of these, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Take what you can eat and eat them while they're fresh. You know, putting them in the freezer and saving them, it's not the same. Just those are perfect little fillets. That makes a great dinner. Back at home, I do a lot of grilling with these. All right. Oh yeah, of course. Come on, what we got here? A little trout going, huh?
Yay!
Look at that. With all the perch and stuff that were coming through, I was just about to say maybe we should move, see if we can find another spot. This, everybody, is a brook trout. And again, now you can see the beautiful colors there, that white, black, and it's more of an orange there at the bottom of the fin. Sometimes that's a real bright, brilliant crimson when you catch these out of shallow water. But just look at the spots, the yellows, pinks, purples, all along the side of that fish. Brook trout are probably one of the most beautiful fish. In the back fin here, you can see a little more of that red. So you get the contrast of the red and the black and the white. All right. I'm not trying to steal away your pink pole or confiscate your pink pole, but would you like to try out this other system? It's a little smaller jig, a little smaller profile, and I think a lot of those fish that are coming up, they're probably perch. What you're doing might actually be more effective for the trout, but do you want to try it? Just give it a shot?
We'll give it a shot.
Okay. So, okay, it's just a number 6, and do you like the red hooks?
I like the red ones because it's easier for me to see them.
And that's a snelled hook that she's using, so she's just putting the snell into a swivel. And then she's got, it's actually just a big split shot for weight. So pretty simple. And then you thread the worm up the hook, so you're
Just
doing
like
kind of like
so.
I was, yep.
Just make sure it's covered, like you said.
Okay. And then they're telling me just drop it right on the bottom, leave it lay on
There
the
you
bottom.
go.
Okay. No simpler, can't be any simpler than that. Raise it up, tease him a little bit, real slow. And then hold still, see if he comes back. He's staying underneath it. Here he comes, here he comes. There you go. Oh, I got one on the pink pole. Hey, it works. I even had to reel it in right-handed. There you go. Got him. Reel it up.
It's backwards for me.
You want your pink pole back, don't you?
Yeah. You want your pole
All
back,
right.
don't you?
Yeah, that's all right.
That way
Good
too
job
many
trying it out.
guys can't harass you.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com. Pull up a shanty seat. It's time for a TGO tackle tip with Tom.
Now all I'm doing with these trout, presumably they're trout, but when I get them coming in on the screen and following, I'm just slowly turning my reel handle. I keep jigging the rod tip, and I'm not doing anything real aggressive. You watch some people and they're pounding this bait. Well, that spooks the fish away when they're tentative. All I'm doing is almost like I've got a little bit of a tremor or the shakes. I'm just trying to work that rod tip real gently, and I'm lifting the rod tip up. Now I don't want to get this rod so that I'm up too high. When that fish hits, if it follows at 2 or 3 feet, I'm out of position. I can't get a good hook set. So I'm just slowly picking up line as I raise the bait. And once I get to 5 or 6 feet off the bottom, if that fish hasn't committed or goes away, then all I've got to do is open the bail back up. I can drop back down and start the same process all over again. And what I'm doing is not only am I working those fish, trying to get them to come up, I'm also working the water column. So I may have one fish coming up or coming over at it, and as I come up with these suspended trout, oftentimes fish will come in from the side. They may even look like they're coming in from the bottom, but if you've got one fish kind of chasing, another one comes in at the same depth, they get competitive. And a lot of times that's when you really get hit hard. And that's true of just about any species of trout, not just these stock trout. Same thing with lake trout, splake, browns. Came up real fast and went back down. When they rock it up like that, usually they'll commit and bite. All you can do is just keep working. Every fish is different. When you get these coming through, maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 is actually going to actually bite. You just got to be patient, keep working them. I thought that one was going to hit it for sure. He came up fast off the bottom. Now it's about 4 or 5 feet. It just started kind of working him up, and he followed it for 1.5 feet and went right back down again. One of the nice things about these situations like this, you'll see the perch and we catch these rock bass and whatever. The trout are real fast moving and real aggressive. They'll outcompete the perch or the rock bass if they're down there and they want it. There you go, another nice brook trout. I tell you, we actually caught a lot more brookies than I expected on this trip. I really thought maybe we'd get a couple, we'd get lucky. And mostly we were going to catch the rainbows. But caught several of these. Again, these aren't big. The speckles, the fins, just gorgeous fish. Well, here we are in the beautiful Black Hills, and I'll tell you what, I'm really having a good time here. These rainbows, these stock trout, these brook trout aren't big, but they make up for it in beauty just like these hills here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's really a fun place to fish, just to stop and take a look around and just see how blessed we are to be able to be in this kind of a beautiful country and be able to be out here and fish for these rainbows. You know, most people, I think when they think about South Dakota, they're thinking about Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse. There's so many different things here that you can come and visit and see with your family, but don't overlook it, especially in the wintertime. Come out here in the winter, it's quiet. You can go and you can visit a lot of these places. Mount Rushmore is open. Crazy Horse is open. And it's not as crowded because it's off season. And in addition to seeing all those fun places, you can also come out here and catch a few stock trout while you're at it. What a great trip.
TGO has been brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors. TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.